Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Ideas to Human Better, how to kindle an optimistic life in flow through a reframing of perceptions and perspectives. On today's episode, I am going to be talking about living 51% in joy, meaning that each day doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, it can be far from perfect. But 51% of your day should be lived in a joyful state. It is very possible. I mean, look, people, that's still an F. If you think about it in grading scale, 51%. I think we can all do that. And I am going to give you some strategies on how. So sit back, relax. Thank you so much for being here on another episode. And I am just incredibly grateful for you. I'm grateful that you are willing to take the time to listen to my crazy ideas and take what works and leave the rest. These are just things that have worked for me, and I feel like it's a shame if I don't share them because possibly, maybe, hopefully, something I say will resonate with you and you too can live 51% in joy. Thank you so much for being here. Please subscribe, rate the show, give me your feedback, leave a comment. I really want to know what you guys are thinking and where you're at. It only helps me to make this better. So feedback is always welcome. I appreciate you guys. I am your host, MsEvaPayne, and this is Ideas to Human Better. Where you go is always your choice. Where you go right now, the decision you make to stay and listen, to go somewhere else, to make that phone call, to look at your phone, to feel a certain way, to pick that thing up or not to pick that thing up, to move in a certain direction. It is always your choice. You get to decide where you are going. You get to decide how much joy you have in your life. Living 51% in joy is a choice. It is literally a choice I make every single day. When something comes into my life that is annoying to me or frustrates me or whatever, I choose. I literally choose to go, yeah, I'm going to be mad about this right now. I'm going to be mad. And then I'm going to give myself like 10 minutes to be mad about it or upset or frustrated or jealous, whatever the feeling is. I don't just poo-poo it away. I just don't sit with it for too long. It's like a timer that I put on certain things. I'm like, okay, you can't take up any more of my time than this, but you're allowed to come in and I'm going to feel this way for a few minutes because that was annoying. But then I'm just going to let it go because I don't want to build up all of that negativity, and I want to live 51% in joy. So I want you to think about, where is your joy meter right now? So I know people who every day they are aware. They're like, where's my joy meter? Where am I? How am I feeling? They're very aware of where their emotional state is, how they're affecting people around them, the choices that they're making and the impact that they're having. They're like really heightened and aware of this. And then I have other people that I know who are just in perpetual pain, perpetual despair, perpetual drama. And they just don't know any different because they have been there for so long that they don't know how to operate in any other way. Joy seems foreign. I mean, joy comes in waves that are probably, for the people who feel joy all the time, would just feel like that's a drop in the bucket because their joy is so abundant that those who don't really feel joy, a lot of the time when they even just get an ounce of it, it feels so good that they even just have a little bit. But compared to people who live in joy, it'd feel like nothing. So how do you bring more joy into your life? Isn't that the big question? Like, how do you hear joy is a choice. Okay, choose it. So I think there's so many different factors to that. And I'm going to talk about a couple of those things today. So when these ideas come into my head, I literally start drawing, I start writing things. Like I drew this picture. I have a camera going, so I'm just going to show. Let's see if I can show them there. Okay. And I'll post it somewhere too. But anyway, I draw like random stuff. I've got posters of these pictures that pop into my head, and then like I'll write a chapter about it. So instead of writing a chapter, I'm just going to talk about it. Okay, so with that, this idea that popped into my head was, how do we live 51% in joy? Where is your joy meter? And what came up for me a couple days ago, and this was so interesting, is my house has been kind of chaotic lately, only because we've lived in it for 2.5 years now, and we've accumulated a lot of stuff. I do my own cleaning, and I'm not the best at it. Straight up, I would rather pay a house cleaner, someone to come and do it, but no, I'm doing it myself right now, and it's so much work. And when you actually just pick up, when your house is so messy and you just pick up, it's still really messy, right? There's like stuff in the corners, or your sink isn't clean, or whatever, little things. So when you actually go to clean, like housekeeper clean, like taking out and just getting everything super spotless, it's amazing the difference. So for example, there was so much water spots all over my sink, and when I sprayed it and cleaned it, it shined so bright. And I had no idea it was that dirty. I just thought, yeah, it's a little dirty, until I could see how beautiful and bright it was. And then I was like, dang it, I wish I would have cleaned it sooner. And I think that is just like each and every single one of us. We come to this planet whole and beautiful and full of love and light and joy. And then it's like layers of crap just gets put on us, layers and layers and layers. Parents' hopes and expectations and failed expectations, and our own perceptions, and we start closing all these doors around us of what's possible in life as we get older. Our belief system diminishes. It's like we kind of just, for a lot of people, we're not taught how to live in joy. We're not taught how to be happy. It's like we're taught how to be confined and how to live in a box, and how to go down a certain road, and everything has to look a certain way in life. And it must drive most people crazy. I mean, that's probably why we have such high crazy depression rates and suicide rates, and so many people on pharmaceutical drugs, is because we've been squashed, and we're not free to just be and create and love and accept one another. And there's so many layers of stuff, and it's heavy. And you wake up one day and you don't even know who you are. You're buried under all of this grime. And it's a lot of work when you've let a lot of grime and layers build up. It's so much work to get out. But what choice do you have? Okay? What choice do you have? You can continue to go down the current path that you're on. Sure, it's available to you. Or you can choose to start to work your way out, one layer at a time. Just think of it like Tan said this the other day in our other podcast, the other podcast I have. She said it's like a ream of paper, and everything is it's one layer at a time. It's one sheet of paper at a time, okay, that you're removing. You've piled on so many sheets that now getting them off is going to take some time. I mean, unless you are a superhero or you've had some giant tragedy just happen and you are like primed and ready to start going down a new path, or you have said enough is enough, then sometimes you're able to take off a ton of sheets at once. But for the most part, this is like a work in progress. You're living your life every day. You're going to a job. You've got your family, your relationships, the things that you're nurturing. And so working through all of these layers just takes time, and that's okay. Okay, so let's just try to say 51% joy. It's not about 85% joy, 100% joy, comparing your life to all these other people. Dude, just stay in your lane and just think, am I living 51% in joy? And what lane am I even choosing? Am I on my current path? Do I like my current path? Well, you are on your current path. Do you like your current path? Are you happy? How did you get here? Are you okay with how you got here? Are you hanging on to all of this stuff in your past? Are you blaming all these people? Do you have regrets and shame and anger and jealousy? Because if you do, guess what? You can write a new narrative. You can totally decide that today you are so grateful for that past because it's brought you to this moment right now where today you're going to make a different choice in your life. Today, you're not going to choose that same thing that has been helping you to stay stuck forever. Let me tell you what just happened the other day. And this is why I'm bringing a lot of this stuff up, because in my life, a lot of things will start to happen and then I connect them all and then it turns into a picture in my mind and then I'm able to write about it or speak about it. So the other day I'm in this clean mode now. Like Emmy, my daughter, my 19-year-old has like purged her whole entire room. My 15-year-old son, he's purged his whole entire room and reset up his whole room. And I'm like, dang, they are a great example. And now it's my turn. Like now I need to be the one to do that. And I already started, and I have the whole house, not just my room. So I started with the yard because our yard was just, every time I sit at my desk and I look out into my backyard and it was weeds up as tall as me and the lawn hadn't been mowed because our lawnmower was broken. I have Googled and YouTubed the heck out of it. I couldn't fix it. I had to break down and go buy a new one. And finally, I'm cleaning my yard. And I've had 2 fruit trees in these pots for 2.5 years. We moved into this house and they were left here. And I thought, I'll plant those one day. And I just never have. And they've never grown. They've just sat and kind of been stagnant. One of them's trying to grow some fruit right now. And I thought, how mean of me that I have just let these plants sit in this pot for 2 years. I mean, their roots aren't able to go into the earth. They're not able to grow. And when I went to go buy some soil and some kind of tilling tool, because our yard, our ground is really heavy and a lot of layers of just rocks and stuff. It's not like super moist ground, but it has been raining quite a bit. So I thought now's as good a time as any. So I went and bought a little tiller and I'm digging this hole and I find this little spot and I put one of the trees in the ground. And my son, my 13-year-old son, I was going to say 12, he's now 13, says, Mom, when did you buy that tree? I'm like, Brayden, we have had that tree for 2.5 years. It has been sitting in a pot in the back of the yard. Have you not noticed the tree? He's like, no, I never knew we had that tree. And I said, in fact, there's another one that I have yet to plant. And he's like, I never knew those were there. And I'm thinking, what the heck? Those have sat in our yard, mind you, from my back door to the end of my yard is maybe like 15 steps, 20 at best. Like it's not a very big yard. There's a trampoline back there and a little bit of patio furniture, a couple palm trees, little palm trees and grass. And that's it. And he has not noticed these fruit trees sitting in this pot. And that just goes to show you that when you are so set in your ways, there could be things all around you, opportunities all around you, beautiful places for you to step into, things for you to discover, things for you to learn to love and find so much joy in new activities and new people. But you just are so blind to your own set patterns. You're so blind to just seeing what you're seeing every single day that you don't notice the new things around you. So being aware of how you feel, being aware of what the heck is going on around you is so important. Being aware of how you perceive your past is so important. Being able to just come to peace with all of that and then decide today that you are going to make a different choice moving forward, that I'm no longer going to feel that blame or that regret. I'm just going to let that go. I'm just going to choose today to just find some gratitude in it. I'm going to be like, you know what? That happened to me because I needed that experience or I wouldn't be where I am today. So I'm grateful for it. Even just that much, being able to say just that much. And if you're not grateful for where you are today, then guess what? You get to start laying bricks today towards a future that when you look back in 6 months, you will say that you are proud of yourself and that you are so grateful for the past however many months, however many years, because of where you ended up today. It is just so incredible how your life can change when you start to bring joy into your life and start doing things that you really, really love. I was listening to a podcast today with on Tom Bilyeu's impact theory, and he had a brilliant man, Sadhguru, and this is what he said. He said, everybody dies. If you're dead, the game is over. But if you're only half dead, oh, this is endless torture to yourself. And when you're being tortured, of course, you'll share it with everybody else. And then he went on to talk about how pain is a good thing. And this is what popped into my head during that part of this podcast, and how all of this sort of just all ties together. So if life is a game, let's just say, right? I mean, one day it's going to end for every single person here, at least this form of existence. And let's pretend there's a review. Let's pretend you're sitting down somewhere and there's a review, and it was like, how'd you do? So now you're no longer feeling the pain that you felt. You're just able to look back on it and almost just be an observer of your life. Okay, so you're not attached to all that anymore because it's gone, and you don't feel it in your body anymore. That pain, those thoughts. I mean, you're still going to be maybe thinking some of the same things. You don't all of a sudden have like a new perspective on everything, but who knows? Maybe you will. Maybe all of a sudden you'll remember all these past lives and this whole perspective will pop in. I have no idea. But for the sake of this game, let's just say that you're just able to look back on your life. Would you say that your life was led 51% in joy? Or would you say that your life was just all full of sorrow? Because you get to decide how you live your life, and just how sad to come here whole, to come here full of light and full of possibility, and just to have all these layers and layers and layers, regardless of how they got there, and to say that you weren't strong enough, that you weren't able to shed those layers. And sometimes that is true. Sometimes those layers are so heavy that we can't anymore. And then that's the end of your game, and it's over. And you know what? At least then you can say, well, at least I came and tried, and that's huge. That's huge to be able to say, at least you're here. At least you came and tried. I am hoping that you're going to say, I came here because I was a warrior. I chose this life. Now, see, this is how I get through. This is my belief system. I believe that we chose this life. See, I do believe that there is some bigger plan, that there is a creator, call it God or the universe or something. And I think if there is freedom of choice, which obviously there is, because I'm choosing to do this right now, unless it's all pre-planned and then whatever. But if we do have free choice, and this is my choice to be here, then I probably also chose to come to this life. And I probably also chose my parents. And I probably also chose my biggest challenges, because I would have said, now this is just Eva and my brain and how I sort of frame things. And I'm totally open to this changing at any point. And I think that's how I find joy, and how I live 51% in joy, is because I truly believe that every choice is my choice. Every choice, even the choice to come here, was my choice. And so what that means is that I am choosing to live 100% of my life fully at every moment. And only when I give up that choice, that's when I go to crazy town. When I'm like, oh no, this is too much. And I start acting and choosing to give into that 10 minutes of pain and, give myself that time to just be sad or angry about something. But I'm aware that I go there. I'm aware that, I'm like getting really upset right now. And I'll even say that, like, oh my gosh, you guys, I'm going to crazy town. At least I'm aware that I'm going there. And then I try really hard, start taking those deep breaths, bringing myself back. So if I chose this life, if I chose my parents and I chose my siblings and I chose these really difficult times, then that means I can choose something different moving forward. And that also means that everything that I chose was for a reason and for a purpose. So for me, I want to create certain things in this life. And where does that all come from? Well, maybe it comes from just this innate desire to just be a creator. We all are creators. We all want to create in this life. We all want to have value in this life. And so for us to live 51% in joy, we need to be doing the things that we feel valuable doing. So you have to bring things into your life that bring you joy. And when you can do the things in your life that bring you tremendous joy, and you're doing it to the best of your ability, then you are going to be happy. So find things that just you truly, truly love to do, and try every single day to somehow step into that new space. Right now, to just find a little bit of gratitude or a lot of gratitude, or you can choose to start pursuing that hobby, or you can choose to have that conversation that's really, really hard to have, so that tomorrow will be better, because the choices that you make today will dictate your tomorrow. Pain is a good thing. Pain is your gauge. It's not about just getting rid of all the pain. It's not about numbing the pain. Pain tells you that you are alive. Pain is there to say, hey, wake up, wake up. And is this where you want to stay? No, you don't want to stay in pain, but you are human. And so you get to feel that for a moment, and then you get to choose to move in a different direction. So what are the things that are causing you pain? What are the things that are causing you anxiety? What are the things that are causing you not to be living a 51% in joy? Look at those things. Don't be afraid to look at those things. You need to be courageous in your life. Courage is the tipping point. Once you tip into courage, once you do the thing that you are most afraid to do, but most want to do in your life, that is when you will be living 51% in joy. If there's one tip that I could give, it is go and do something courageous today. Go and do something that is a tiny bit out of your comfort zone, but that would make your heart so incredibly happy if it worked out. And if it doesn't work out, that's okay, because at least you tried. Resilience is key. Resilience is so important. If you are not teaching yourself resilience and putting yourself in positions to build your resilience, if you are not teaching your children resilience, then you are missing out. Resilience, being able to just put yourself out there over and over again, to be able to pursue joy no matter what, over and over again, in spite of failure, is the most important thing to actually obtaining joy and living an optimistic life. I put myself out there over and over and over. It's like the nature of being an entrepreneur. You almost have to be like borderline crazy. It meets reality. You have to be willing to just take these huge risks and be willing to fail. And sometimes those huge risks are in conversations. Sometimes those huge risks are in sending that email or taking that chance and going after something that you know you really want to pursue. Even if it's just a baby step, like doing the research to see if it's something that you would really, really want. Okay. Sometimes you think you want something, but you haven't actually cleaned it off to actually look at it to see, is this something that I really want in my life? So you need to go down that road, being totally open to maybe not really wanting to do that thing anymore. That's okay. Or having it completely fail in your life. That's okay too, because you learn from that, you build upon that, and you move in a different direction. So what if it actually does come true? Think about that. Yes, you might fail. Yes, you might not obtain 51% joy today, but what if you do? What if you get that phone call? What if that dream comes true? It's worth a shot. I mean, why not? Look, everybody dies anyway, right? We're all going to end up in the same place eventually, wherever that place is. So why not choose to be happy and choose to pursue the things that bring you joy? Or go ahead, choose to be miserable, choose to cope in negative ways, choose to hurt people, choose to blame people, choose to be jealous. Sounds exhausting to me. Sounds like layers and layers and layers. Remember, no choice is still a choice. If you don't make a choice, you're still making a choice. Every day that you live and breathe is a choice. I am grateful that you are choosing to be here. I am grateful that you are fighting. I am grateful that you are choosing to try your best every single day. I hope and pray that every single one of us will choose to live 51% in joy, that we will let go of the blame, let go of the past, let go of the things that hold us back, drop the rocks you're carrying, shed the papers, polish yourself up, go after the things that you love, and just have a ripple effect of energy that is joy and peace and love and positivity. You will impact the world. You will change the world just by showing up wholeheartedly. Thank you so much for being here today. I love and appreciate every single person. Take what works, ditch the rest. Hey, these are just ideas to human better. I'm your host, MsEvaPayne.